Hi guys, welcome to Radish on the Runway. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm super excited today, as always, because I have a special guest. Her name is Gabrielle. She's the owner and operator of Bgabs Vegan Kitchen. Her restaurant is located on the south side of Chicago. And when I tell you her food is amazing, it is amazing. Hi, Gabrielle. Welcome to Radish on the Runway.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am okay. I am holding on.
Yeah. So how are you dealing with this whole COVID-19 thing?
COVID is an interesting topic to me because, as you know, many believed it wouldn't hit our community, which was one of the most foolish things I had ever heard, to be honest. The disparities in it are really challenging for me. And I have kept my children in lockdown. They have not. I mean, my oldest son can walk the dog and he can skateboard sometimes. But they've been in lockdown because we don't do medicine and things of that nature anyway. So, but my response to the community and through my business is, I've only been open one day a week.
Okay.
During this whole thing, and primarily dealing with CMOS. It's only been about 4 weeks that we started cooking. And then the other thing that I do is I have a giving campaign with a friend of mine, and we drop off. We do usually 500 box drop-offs, and we just buy the stuff ourselves and box it up with some volunteers, rent a U-Haul truck, and do some Robin Hood shit.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just go into a community. We've been primarily focused on Harvey because we have a friend who has a medical clinic there. Okay. So we have an automatic population, and the mayor works very well with me. So wherever we want to pull a truck up, they don't care, so we can pull up on a main street, open up the back, offload. I think the last time we did it, we did 500 boxes in 57 minutes. We offloaded to people directly.
Wow, that is so good, Gabrielle. Wow.
So that's really how I'm dealing with it, is that I just keep giving. What else am I going to do?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And now, recent things have popped up now regarding, our whole deal on racism. And how are you dealing with all that? I know it can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah. For any of your followers that follow my page, about a week ago, my 8-year-old asked if slavery was coming back. He's a mixed child, just like myself, but we both identify as Black. And then my oldest son also is Black. And my thing is that racism is actually too simple of a way to address and state what is going on.
Absolutely.
This is really about white supremacy.
Yeah.
And I think if we can shift that language, the buy-in becomes greater, because racism is a thought that's matched with power, and that power is white supremacy. And so what does that mean practically? And we'll just talk about the police, because that seems to be the hottest topic. And I am not anti-police. I would like to say that. All police are not bad. They're not all good, just like any other populace of people. They are, however, sworn to protect and serve, which is what highlights the challenges we have there. But if a police officer of any kind did and committed a crime, and we didn't have white supremacy, they would be persecuted and put in jail and held accountable. But because our country is built on white supremacy, all kinds of crimes can be committed against all kinds of people. And as we know, it seems in this country, Black people are the ones persecuted the most. It is allowable. And that's the only conversation that I want to have. I don't want to minimize it to your neighbor being racist.
Yeah.
Your neighbor can think whatever the hell they want to think.
Right.
But if our structures and our justice system and our police force and our education system and our food system is equitable, and without white supremacy, it doesn't win. Because that white supremacy is structure, that is institutionalized. And so and the words white supremacy kind of makes most people recoil. Racism doesn't have the same power. That word, it's like almost an overplayed word, so it doesn't have the same power. And people think that we're protesting for George Floyd. Okay, that's just like, one of the most recent ones, not even the most recent one, because people are dying during this protest.
Absolutely.
We're really fighting for the removal of oppression of Black people. So it's not a singular thing.
Yeah.
And so we can't lose the larger message, because if these 4 men get tried and convicted, which is doubtful, it will still not be over, because we're not fighting the bigger cause, the root cause. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's so good. So good. And nothing but facts. So true. Wow. Thank you for telling my audience that, because I feel like some people don't realize that.
It's easy to get lost in it because we are a country of sensationalism. We have the attention span of like a gnat, and we used to say it was just the kids, but the elders, were the same way, scrolling through Instagram and Facebook. You can look at something for 1 minute and they even now have to say this article is a 2-minute read, because we're unwilling to read. We're unwilling to go back in time to fix today. And it's pretty exhausting. Exhausting.
Wow. Going back to your son saying, are they going to bring slavery back? Man, that's crazy to me.
And he's all of us in my house are different shades of brown.
Okay.
And he's the lightest, and he would not leave my side. I was like, we're good. And he's like, yeah, but I have to worry about you and Marley because you guys are darker than me. And I was like, we're okay. So not only are you dealing with the youth, because I had some other friends tell me their children were asking that, and some of those friends, their children were white, and they didn't know how to address that. But he's dealing with colorism, and so it's a lot to manage. I think, like, he knows what's going on, but he doesn't know what's going on because I'm not showing him videos. I'm not putting him in the center of that. I don't think that trauma, the visual trauma, is necessary. I think the discussions on injustice are necessary, and that you should have enough language to be able to speak to your children without putting the imprint in their mind, because that imprint is them or their brother or their father or their uncle or their best friend's father, whatever it is. So I don't do that, but he's aware. I can't walk my dog right now. If I walk my dog, he calls me 25 minutes, 5 times on FaceTime. And I'm like, listen, you got to let this dog go to the bathroom.
Wow.
But it's,
How old is he, Gabrielle? How old is he?
He's 8.
8.
He's 8, right? So this is what we're shaping. And you have to wait to see if these children grow up to be really angry, right? Or really closeted in how they feel they can express. And that's layered with all the other normal things that are going to happen in life, right? Just, non-race related things that are going to happen. And so I spend a lot of time in my mind trying to mitigate that. What I can and can't say, because I don't want him to be anti anybody.
Right.
And, that's not my thing. You can be pro-Black without being anti anything else, especially in a country where Blackness is not accepted.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Can you touch on the importance of buying into Black-owned businesses?
Yeah. So I actually, when all this popped off, I actually stayed quiet for about 3 days, and then I did a video. And my thing is that because I see the country as a white supremacist structure and a capitalist structure, the only way you take that down is with your dollar. It also happens to be the safest way that you can take it down.
Right.
Shooting me because I spend my money at a Black-owned business is probably unlikely.
Yeah.
So I am no longer in a position to have conversation without calls to action. And so I put in my video, my call to action is that we weaponize our money.
Yeah.
You take your money and you put it in Black owned business. And if you can't, you can't. If there's nothing around you, then you do the best you can. But you have to get uncomfortable, which means you have to drive a further distance. You have to bike a further distance. You got to get on a bus. We have to have shared economics. We have to have shared transportation. You know, the Montgomery bus boycott took a year. We cannot play the short game here. We've been playing the short game and waiting for an oppressed system to relieve us. But nobody, regardless of race, color, creed, economics, is going to freely turn over power. And in a country that is so rooted in capitalism as well, you can cut it all off at the knees with your dollar.
Yeah.
And I am not a person who believes that you do that one day a week or one day a month. I'm a person who believes you do that every day.
Yeah.
In the ways that you can.
Yeah.
So it's true that some people, it'll be harder for them to buy from a Black owned business because they might not be there. But everybody loves the internet. So that means you have to order it and maybe you have to wait 2 days to get it.
Right.
You can't have it right now. Right.
Yeah.
And
you may have to pay a couple more dollars, but that's okay.
Exactly. So actually what I did an Instagram live about this about 3 weeks ago because of COVID. And I said, like, what do we need? Because I own a business that's a restaurant, but I can do whatever I want within those walls. So I'm turning it into, I'm from the East Coast, so I'm turning the back half of the restaurant, or about 80% of the restaurant, into a bodega so that you can get fruits, vegetables, grains, body product, everything that you need to get on a micro level. And yeah, it's probably going to cost more than if you go to Walmart.
Right,
but this is where we get to see if we really are who we are. It's important to test yourself to see if you are who you are, who you say you are. So I just finished clearing out the back of the store yesterday, and I will slowly be integrating product. I can't get it all in there at one time because it just is cumbersome. I've contacted the USDA to be able to receive to be able to service clients that use Link and SNAP benefits. For those that don't know what those are, that's the newer term for food stamps, so that people won't have an excuse to not support a structure that is put in place for them to carry out their financial mission if they choose to weaponize their money. I also got asked yesterday to join a group of men that want to open a Black-owned grocery store. And so I have committed money to that yesterday. I think we're up to $60,000 in under an hour of 5 of us or 6 of us committing $10,000 a piece to do that. So I can't lead that charge because I have my own charge here, but if they lead the charge, then they will get the check and we will open the store. I believe they will lead the charge. These are not men that are playing. They are actionable men. So, that happens sooner than later, and how it should happen is still, to me, up for debate. If it should be a big store, if it should be a bunch of micro stores. I'm personally in favor of micro stores. Yeah. So, we'll see how that plays out. But that was posted on Facebook and 5 of us committed our money immediately. So
I love it. I love that you're giving back to the community. One thing I always used to say is when I went to New York, I loved that they had bodegas like everywhere. And so the idea of you bringing that to Chicago is amazing.
Yeah, and now then we just need the buy-in. I don't feel like I own my business, right? Really? I feel more like the steward of my business. At one point, I think small businesses are owned by the people that started. And then if it becomes successful, it's really owned by the people and governed or stewarded by the person who has to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Right? Because the community really dictates what it needs. And I think if you are in business for the community, then you consistently are shifting what is needed based on the feedback of the people.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about Bgabs Vegan Kitchen.
Oh yeah, that place.
My friend Erica Watson, I think you know her. She told me about you. Yes. And she was like, girl, have you tried Bgabs? And I was like, Bgabs? I have not heard of Bgabs. And she was like, I think you would really like them because most of her food is soy free, and she's more on the healthier side of the spectrum. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to try it out. So I came to your restaurant. You were not there. And I ordered some food. It was so good. And I was like I ordered two more dishes and I took them home. So altogether I had three dishes because I live on the north side of Chicago. So I was just like, I ordered three meals from you in one day.
Thank you.
So, I don't know your story, Gabrielle. Like, how did you become plant-based?
I was sick.
Okay.
I was sick. And nothing that I did seemed to work. I got sick with an autoimmune issue, and I gained about, 90 pounds in 7 months. And I wasn't on any steroids, and nobody at that time. I was being misdiagnosed, and I was raised an athlete, so being overweight was not something my body was accustomed to. It created a lot of depression for sure, and a lot of frustration, and it's still trying to be put in balance. But I tried every type of diet, like literally everything. And I started eating raw, and that's when I saw some results. And I did it for quite some time. So my first restaurant was actually in Woodlawn, and it was only raw food. I only had there. And we had to leave that space because it wasn't big enough, and there happened to be a stove at the new place. And so I just felt like God was telling me I also had to cook. And let me tell you, thank God I did. Otherwise, we probably would have closed down because not that many people want to eat raw food.
Yeah.
And it didn't do everything for me, that's for sure. But when I look back over my life, I really never liked eating meat anyway. It was not a hard transition for me. Cheese, on the other hand, not so easy, especially since I started doing this and being on this journey over 10 years ago. Now we can get some decent fake cheese, but then everything tastes like cardboard and was horrible. So cheese was a tough one. And I think and as doctors have told me, because of my lifestyle, I don't have any known health issues, even though there's an autoimmune problem, even though I haven't been able to release all of this weight. Everything that would be tied to a health issue based on weight is not present. I actually just went to a doctor. And
Same here.
Yeah. I don't go to the doctor because I don't have much faith and trust, but I do have a friend who owns a clinic. And so I went to her place and I had them do every test. I was like, test me for everything because y'all know I'm not coming back. And they tested me for everything. And they're like, yo, you look like the picture of perfect health, even though I'm overweight. And they're like, what do you eat? And I'm like, this is what I eat. And they're like, don't stop. I went to see a specialist because my autoimmune issue creates blood clotting. And they're like, you haven't had a clot in like 10, 12 years. I was like, yeah. They're like,
wow.
You're supposed to be on medication. And I'm like, yeah, I don't take that. They're like, well, what do you do? I was like, I'm vegan. And they're like, don't stop. Keep doing that because we're not putting you on anything. We're not suggesting anything. Keep going the way you're going. And prior to that, I had a lot of problems. And so now it's about, for me, removal of weight, more for myself, like my own personal desire, but to do it safely because the autoimmune issue creates a lot of swelling in my body, which promotes clotting. So I'm like always doing this balance. But I came to it for that. I came to it because I needed to put whatever this autoimmune issue was at bay. It's not eradicated, but it's at bay. And so that's how it happened for me. And the restaurant was born because what I needed didn't exist.
Right.
Not in my community. So I never liked the fake meats. I never liked that stuff. And so we just built what we needed. That's all. And then it took on a life of its own.
So how long would you say you've been plant-based? How many years?
Maybe 11.
11. So
Maybe.
when you were plant-based, it was not popular as it is right now. Like everybody's trying to be vegan out there.
No, and when I started, I was doing raw, so it was less popular.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
like, the first restaurant, I used to make anywhere between 30 and 40 dishes a day, and it was just a small population of people that were eating there. But I had to build it to give myself a chance. Really?
Hmm. Yeah. I just love hearing how you use food as your medicine. I've talked to a lot of people and we share how our doctors don't have like a nutrition class. They don't know the importance of how food can really help you as far as your health. So I just love that every person that I'm interviewing, they're telling me, "Oh, I was sick."
Yeah.
Like that's the number one reason why so many people change their diets. So
Yeah.
I just love it.
And we're really just going back to an indigenous way. That's really
Hmm.
all it is. And
Yeah.
you're right. They're not medical professionals are not forced to take nutrition, and it's not within big pharma's um, best interest for us to eat greens
Oh,
to for
absolutely.
ourselves. So, there are plenty of physicians that would like to do the right thing. And they also have their jobs to protect. If they all start telling us to be vegan, they're not gonna have a job.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about, because I know when I went to your restaurant, a lot of your stuff was soy free. So tell me the importance of having soy free items in your restaurant.
So I fall on the spectrum of believing that soy is not in our best interest, that the estrogen in soy is not optimal for us. And at the time, about 97 to 98% of the soy was genetically modified anyway. And American producers of soy were not allowing it to ferment as long as countries that use it as a staple, like in Asia and things of that nature. So, um, and then I started to watch how it worked in my body, and it didn't work well. So, I mean, that for me, it's about whole plant based veganism. I do sell two burgers that I don't make, the Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger. And I'm not here to bash them, but they are literally an item that is used to bridge people over to whole plant veganism. And it took me a very long time to bring those in. I was almost like forced to bring them in.
Yeah.
Um, People really
Isn't one
wanted
of them soy free though, if I'm not mistaken?
Beyond. Beyond is
Beyond?
soy
Okay.
free.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is Impossible has like less than 2% soy, but it also contains genetically modified ingredients. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, to me, neither one of them is, it's not a health product.
Right, right.
So if you are, when I had the restaurant that was all raw, I knew anybody coming in there was either really concerned about their health, working to reverse something in their health, right? And so I knew at the time that anything I gave them would be beneficial. But when I brought those two burgers in, I had a lot of meetings with a lot of customers. Um, and they literally had to convince me to bring those in. And the first time I served it to the Chicago Tribune and I cried. And they're like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "Because I don't know if you're sick. And if you eat this, this is not going to help. It might not hurt you. I'm not here to say that, but I know for sure that it's not going to help." And up until that point, I could guarantee that everything that I made would be a positive in the body. So
Yeah.
it's been a challenge. I do think that it was the right choice, but it was a hard choice because so many more people come. And I'm thinking about a particular couple that is in their mid 60s, and they would come and get like 4 burgers for the week. And one day I just said, "That's enough. Like it's enough." And if you get to know me, like I will choose all your food. You will have no choices. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I can't watch you eat this every single time. Like, if you're getting this, I need you to get this salad and this thing and this thing." And so
Right.
now they don't get the fake meat anymore, and they're
Awesome.
thankful. But it got them through the door,
Yeah.
and so we can work on the other parts over time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like people who are just starting to become vegan, like mock meat, unfortunately, would be something good for them to start off with, but they have to start incorporating plants and,
Yeah.
more whole foods.
If you're doing it for your health, right? Because there are a
Right.
ton of vegans that don't care about their health. And I call them the potato chip and Oreo eating vegans. They, they're doing it for planet or animals or some other reason, and their health really isn't a factor. And if your
Hmm.
health isn't a factor to you, then you can have whatever you want to have, and would
Yeah,
have done that whether you were vegan or not.
yeah. Is health one of your main reasons for being vegan? Is that your
My reason.
okay?
It is my reason.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I'm a huge animal lover, and I absolutely care about the planet. And the beautiful thing for the animals and the planet is that because I choose veganism for my health, they win also. But I am
Yeah,
not choosing anything else over my health.
absolutely.
That's not that I'm not that's not the vegan that I am. Will I protest and talk about the atrocities of what veganism does to animals and the planet? It's an easy thing because it's clear. It's not really debatable. It
Right,
is.
right.
Um, but I didn't come to it for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Um, Kind of the same reason for me. I was pre-diabetic and I had hypertension, and after I went vegan, those issues were basically resolved. So I no longer am dealing with those issues.
Right.
So, tell us about.
Right.
It's so funny to me, Gabrielle, that like a lot of the non-vegans are talking about sea moss now. Like, and we've known about sea moss. So
Yeah.
tell me about sea moss.
One of the things that I do want to say, because it is becoming so popular and trending so hard that it's crossing all the barriers, economic, racial, what have you. Um, One of the things that I can't stand to watch, that we do a great job at promoting, is that this sea moss, purple sea moss is better than golden sea moss, or this one is better than. You know what I want to say? Shut the fuck up. That's what I want to say. Why? Because your ass wasn't taking no sea moss yesterday.
Right.
Okay? And so if today you're getting minerals when you were mineral deficient yesterday, I cannot have this level of ignorance circling around my brain. I'm not
Right.
participating. And the other thing is that, yes, it is a sea vegetable, a sea plant that is high in minerals and some vitamins. But if all you do is take sea moss and you change nothing else, it's going to be very difficult to get maximum benefits from it. I would love for us to stop exploiting our people by overcharging for this product. We
Mm.
charge a very minimal amount for the product. But in terms of its benefits, I feel like it's almost like this universal thing. Everybody that I have suggested to use it for whatever it is that they are using it for will call me and be like, yes, I don't have this pain anymore. Yes, I have
Mm.
energy. Yes, my son's teenage acne is cleared up. Yet, like, nobody has come to me with, no, that didn't do that. Like, what's in this mug right now? About 8 tablespoons of sea moss and some hot
Wow.
water.
I love
Right.
it.
So, and it's really the only tea that I drink, and no tea bag, just sea moss. I consume a lot of it every day. My children consume a lot of it.
Are your kids vegan as well?
Uh, the youngest, when he is in my care, is vegan. Unfortunately, the other side doesn't seem to follow those directions, so that's very frustrating.
Okay.
Because when he comes home, there's a problem. Like, his eyes are running, he's stuffed up, he's congested. He's also eating more processed food when he's not with me. So all I can do for him is show him, you see, when you're here, this is how you feel. And when you go there, this is what happens. I need you to see the comparison so you can make the best choice, because you're old enough now to tell somebody, no, I don't eat that. No, I don't want that.
Right,
Right.
right.
So, and it's strange because when his father and I were together, we ate the same way. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, honestly. But uh, that's not the battle I'm going to fight. There's other ones. My oldest, who is 21, he will not tell you that he's vegan. because he is not. But he's like 99.99% vegan. And,
Yeah. Is that the
and
one
he's
that
like,
helps you out in the restaurant sometimes?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You
So
guys look just alike.
wait till you see all three of us together. I think the cool thing about Marley not claiming any particular food style is Marley is 21 and has so much information about food and herbs and essential oils and all of this stuff. And he knows what to do when he needs to do it. So he does.
Mm.
I never, if I send him to the store and I'll be like, ooh, bring something fun back, right? Like for me, that might be popcorn in a bag, right? That's like fun, in my house. He'll be like, nah, I make my own popcorn. Like there's no, like sending him off the tracks is like almost impossible. He's the one who gets his youngest brother to take all the herbal tinctures. The youngest one will fight me about it, but he's not going to fight his brother about it. So I don't worry about Marley's diet because he really knows what to do. And if he one day wants to eat a Swiss cheese sandwich, I'm not going to trip out about it. First of all, you're 21. You have to make your own choices and you know what you need to know. And it's so minimal. It's so minimal that I ever see him eat anything that's not vegan or that comes from a box or a bag or anything. So if I had to classify him, I would call him a flexitarian, and I'm good with that. The youngest one does not have that option, and that you need to have all the information before you get to decide the course that you want to take. And I noticed that if you don't force the young people, they generally will fall in line with what you want them to do, especially,
Right.
in that 18 to 25 pocket. And Marley's incredibly healthy, and I do remember when we made the switch, he liked chicken. And I would tell him, well, if you're going to eat chicken, you have to buy a whole chicken, and then you have to debone it yourself. And then you have to take the bones and you have to turn it into a broth. And then you have to give that broth to, so like, you're not going to waste food, because I have a real anti-food waste policy at home and in my restaurant. And just the chore of having to do that, because you can't buy a part of a chicken. You have to buy a whole chicken. Stop being so American. You don't get a part, you get a whole. Like it's a whole animal, so you take the whole animal. And my other rule was that if you were going to eat that, you'd have to be willing to kill it. And if you're not willing to kill it, you don't get to eat it. And so, that gave him a lot to think about. And I really didn't have to say much after that. And that's how
Wow.
I dealt with it, because that is really how I feel. If I'm starving and I'm in the woods and there's nothing and I don't understand botany and what I can eat or whatever, I'm gonna eat whatever I need to eat to survive.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to do that, then you can do whatever you want, because you're not gonna waste. You're not gonna dishonor. Part of my issue with people that eat meat is that there's so much dishonor in it. You don't even see it as a whole animal. Therefore, you
Absolutely.
take what you want and throw out what you don't want, and there's no honor in the life. And I think if people honored the life of it, they would probably eat less of it. And that
Yeah.
would reverse changes. So I just like to be a little bit practical about it.
I love that. Yes. And Gab, what type of, first off, do people call you Bgabs?
Call me all kinds of
Oh,
things,
wow.
honey. They call me all kinds of things. Some people do. I don't really, I don't care, I don't
I'm
care.
like, why do I want to call her Bgab? So what type of advice would you like to give a person wanting to become a vegan?
Take it slow and don't beat yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started this, I used to teach young children about veganism and kale and all this, stuff. And I realized that we have to be real careful with our language, because you can put a lot of guilt on somebody for not being vegan, or your parents not raising you as vegan, or you not having access. You have to be realistic about where you are, what you want to do, why you want to do it, and then don't impose that shit on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
stop imposing. So I think you take it slow. I believe I have a lot of education, certifications, classifications, and all kinds of alternative health modalities. And went to school for alternative nutrition and holistic works. And I don't believe in the extraction of things. I believe in adding things in, and by default, things will leave.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a private client of mine, because I take private clients, I don't tell you to give up anything. I will help you go from, one type of potato chip to another type of potato chip. But I will tell you to add this to your plate, or add this to your pantry, or put this in your fridge, or take this also, or drink this also. And when you start to feel the difference in your body, the rest of it will take care of itself.
Yeah.
But if we remove everything at one time, you have guilt, you have shame, you feel deprived. That's not a sustainable model.
Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts are just as toxic and damaging as the things that you put in your body, if not more so. So I don't approach it that way. And some people can just get up and stop whatever. They're highly disciplined people. Most of us aren't that. People that are sick. I mean, I have clients, stage 4 cancer, and they can't give up stuff. There's also addiction tied to this. Like, there's literally chemicals in our food and our water that keep us addicted to the substance.
Yeah.
And when you realize, then you kind of have to stop beating people up, because they have to literally withdraw from the physical nature of something, the emotional nature of something, the spiritual nature of something. So I just, it's not my job to beat you up about it. I just tell people to go slow, to research, find better versions of what they like, because that alone is going to help.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, find a little bit better version. If you're, like I tell people, okay, so you want to eat potato chips, fine. You could go right now, we can go to the store and we could look at Lay's barbecue potato chips, which aren't going to be vegan, but they have so many ingredients. If you just get regular Lay's, they have 3 ingredients. Your body has a better chance of processing all of those ingredients, those 3 ingredients, versus 20, 15, 40 ingredients. You're asking your body to do too much. So find the thing that has the least amount of ingredients with the least amount of chemicals, and let's start there. And so I spend a lot of time redoing people's pantries and refrigerators. And because I had to do it for myself. So it's easy enough for me to walk through a store and say, this is a better version of that thing that you eat.
Wow, I had no idea you did that as well. You're a busy woman.
I am busy. I am busy, but it's all around the same thing, It's all around the same thing, and I only do what I can do at this point.
Yeah. So Gabrielle, I'm just so curious to know, because a lot of people are so concerned. Where do you get your protein from?
You're not doing it. You're not. I don't even concern myself with protein. I have zero concern about protein. So I get it from my food. I get it from my food, like most people, get it from my sea moss, my beans, my greens, It's all over the place, actually. Protein's all over the place.
Absolutely.
So it's not hard to get. And I once read that the World Health Organization had said that 2 tablespoons of spirulina, which I don't consume spirulina, 2 tablespoons of spirulina is twice the amount of protein that a person needs in any given day. That's the average person. Most of us are not triathletes. Most of us are not Navy SEALs. Most of us don't require what we think we require. Like, I love when people go to the gym, the average person, and they're like, yeah, I just left the gym. I need a protein shake. I'm like, really? How much did you work out? Like, you know that your muscle is like 75% water? How much water did you have? Like, we don't know how the body works. So we think we need all of this or that or the other.
Yeah.
But you need to know how your body works. And then you won't be so concerned. Like, how about you get concerned with trace minerals and take some sea moss?
Right.
How about you drink a cold pressed juice that you make yourself and get some enzymes, because we're all walking around enzymatically deficient.
Yes.
So it's, I don't usually engage in that, because I just, like, I can't talk to you about this. Like, I don't know, and who cares if you're taking in protein if your body can't assimilate it? What does it matter?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Just drink fucking water. Just drink water. Drink water. There's no protein in it, but drink it. You know?
I love it. So Gabrielle, could you please tell my audience like how we can follow you, your location of your restaurant?
Sure. So I'm in Hyde Park. I'm at 1450 East 57th Street. My Instagram handle is Bgabs Vegan Kitchen. My Facebook handle is Bgabs Goodies. And you should follow those pages because that's when you find out what's going on with me. As you know, I'm not tech savvy. Sorry, there's a plane. I'm not tech savvy, so that means I'm not going to update my website all the time. Sorry, folks. I'm like a one-woman show. So it's best to catch me on the gram, as the children are saying.
Yes.
And in a neighborhood, find me giving out boxes of food on any random day.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, please go visit Bgabs because her food is amazing. Now, I did not get a chance to eat any of your peach cobbler, and I heard it was so good.
All right. Well, where are you from the South? Let's first have that.
Arkansas is deep in the South.
No, but it sounds like I want to go there because I love the South. Now, I was raised in the North, but I believe that my soul is in the South. So that's where I will be relocating to the South. But if I'm forced to stay in the country, I'll be in the South. But yeah, you'll be all right with my peach cobbler.
Okay.
My thing is that I never look at vegan recipes, although I have a ton of vegan cookbooks and magazines. That's just because I like to support the industry. I love food and I love good food, and I like to give us the closest version possible. And I think my biggest gift in the kitchen is that I knew how to cook the other stuff. So you just have to figure out how to convert it. And I think I'm lucky. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
I know how to do that. So without having to use fake products. So yeah, the peach cobblers, that's like a whole movement unto itself, apparently. When I first launched it, we were making like 8 pans a day. I was like, what is going on? Like my whole job was to make peach cobbler. The rest of the kitchen was to handle food. And at that time, we had also launched late nights where my son, Marley, and his best friend, Justin, were running late nights. So pre-COVID, we would open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. and stay open until 2 a.m.
Ooh.
And I did that really to make sure they were kept off the streets, right? And we had no darn place to eat anyway. So it was like a win for everybody. And they do a great job. But I would be 1 o'clock in the morning putting pans of peach cobbler in because I'm like, you guys, it's 1:45, 2 o'clock. Y'all still want to eat peach cobbler? It was ridiculous. Like, we have video of people coming out in their bonnets and pajamas because we would post like fresh pan and people would just like come out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is bananas. Y'all know this is just peach cobbler, right? They were going crazy. Going crazy, and I'm sure other people make it. So I wasn't sure what was happening. I you guys out in your silk bonnets right now.
Well, I love it, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for being a part of my podcast.
No problem.
Yeah, this is great.
And I think you were on with Erica the other day, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah,
and I was having technical issues. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I came home from work and I watched you guys live.
Yeah, I was like delayed like 30 minutes.
It's all right. We do the best we can.
All right. Well, thank you again, Gabrielle.